homework was to finish practice test 1 because we didn't quite get through it all. Did anybody still have a question about something on practice test 1? Anybody? Yes, Trey. All right, let's look at number 7. Are these inverses? Why or why not? Did anybody have a thought on how to do this problem? Think about when you did number 10 and you sketched the inverse. Did you get that one? How did you do that? How did you sketch the inverse? What did you do?
Takes the ordered pair of the original and then
Exactly. You flip the ordered pairs. So in other words, if 5, 7 is an ordered pair of the original, then 7, 5 has to be an ordered pair of the inverse. Trey, does that make sense to you? So let's find an ordered pair of the original. And let's pick a random number, not something special. Let's try 6. If I put 6 in for x, what does this equal? If I put 6 in here, 8. Now, if I put 8 into this guy, what should happen if they are inverses? I should get what? 6. Do I? If I put 8 in here, do I get 6? No, I don't. What do I get? 8. So what's my conclusion? They are not inverses, because if they're inverses, what has to happen with their ordered pairs? They have to be switches.
You can just pick your number for X.
Yep. Don't pick zeros and ones and special numbers. Pick something random. But that is one way to do that problem, Trey. Okay, just pick a number and put it in. So, let's look at practice test 2. This is tonight's homework. Number 8, problem number 8, says here are the functions. Are they inverses? Why or why not? Well, let's look at this one. And let's plug in, let's pick another number this time. Let's plug in a 10. What do I get when I plug in a 10? 23. Now what am I going to do with that 23? I'm going to put it into here, right? And what had better happen if they're inverses? All right, let's see. Do I get 10 when I put it in? 23 minus 3 is 20, divided by 2 is 10. Guess what? They are inverses. Why are they inverses? Because their ordered pairs are flips of each other, reverses of each other.
So did you put for g of x, did you put in 23 for the x?
All right, anybody else on practice test 1 have a question?
Yeah, can you do number 6? Is that not the same thing?
Number 6.
Where it says find a direct?
No. This is practice test 1. Number 6. No, this is a totally different situation.
Okay.
This is a parametric situation. X equals 4 plus t and y equals 2t minus 3. I want a direct algebraic relationship between x and y. That means lose the t's. Who remembers how to do this?
Solve for one, plug the answer for the other.
Exactly. Listen to what she said. Solve for one, plug the answer into the other. So it would be easiest to get t by itself in this equation, right? So solve for t in one of them. There it is. Now take that and plug it into the other one. So y equals 2x minus 11 is the direct algebraic relationship. Let's look at practice test 2. That is question 10 on practice test 2. So what do I do? What'd she say? Taylor hit it right on the head. What'd she say to do? Solve for t in one of them. Okay, the easiest here. T equals 2y. And then plug that into the other one. So x equals 4 minus 2 times 2y. So x equals 4 minus 4y. Anybody else on practice test 1? Number 9, plug in -1. So if I plug in -1, x equals -1 squared, that's 1. And y equals 5 minus 1 over 3, so that would be 4/3. Yeah, those are easy. Just plug in the number at a point.
And also for number 10, like how do you like graph that again? Or like
All right, somebody tell her, how do we sketch in number 10, how do we sketch the inverse? What do? We flip the ordered pairs. So if the ordered pair on the original is -4, 0, then I plot the point 0, -4. I just flip each point individually one at a time. Is the original picture a function, the picture I drew there?
No.
Is it a function? Yes,
Oh, yes,
it passes the vertical line test. Is its inverse a function? No, it does not pass the horizontal line test. Is it 1-to-1? No, because to be 1-to-1, you have to pass both.
when you're doing the line test, do you do the graph that you like re-sketched or the original?
It depends what the question says. I would do, if it says f of x, then you use the original. If it says f inverse, then you use the other one if you want to. You can test the inverse by doing the horizontal line test. So I would use the original. All right, anything else on practice test 1? All right, let's look at practice test 2. We have a page of graphs, we have a page of word problems, then we have a page of other stuff. So we're not going to get through the whole thing. What would help you the most to go through? Lindsay, tell me what it is. E on the first page. So we're looking at a graph. Remember, kids, whatever we don't get done in class is homework. So please work along. All right, so lots of stuff happening. I'm going to get my original here. Okay, so here's my original. Now, I'm going to take care of this right here first. That's an absolute value of the x. So remember, what's that rule? If it's on the right, recopy it. And then what? Recopy that on the left. So I am not worried about my trapezoid in this problem. I'm only worried about this. So that's this part. Now what does the 2 do? Makes it 2 times as tall. So instead of these circles going down 1, now they're going to go down 2. What does the negative there do? It flips you upside down. So there is the answer. If you try to do all that at once, it's overwhelming. But if you do it one step at a time, you know the rules. You can do it. All right, anybody else want to do something on practice test 2? Got the word problems, got the random stuff, and got the graphs. Which one, Lexi? 11. 11 is one where I have drawn the graph and you have to write the equation. So let's make a list of what has changed. We're looking at number 11 on practice test 2. And let's make a list of what happened. So one thing she noticed is it got taller. Is it twice as tall?
Yes.
All right, so it's twice as tall. I'm just going to make a list. And then I'll put it all together in an equation, but it's twice as tall. What else happened to it? It's upside down. Would you agree with me? Upside down. Anything else happened to it? It went down 2. That take care of it? So we're going to write an equation that takes care of all that. Twice as tall. Where does a number go into the equation to make it twice as tall, Jordan? Before the F. And, Jordan, since it's also going upside down, can I make that a negative 2? Down 2. Where do I put the number? After. So I'm going to put X and then minus 2. And there it is. That's it. I think it really helps if you make a list and then translate it into the equation. All right, who else? See something on practice test 2 that we need to do together. Yeah.
Number 4 on the word problem.
4. What's our little kind of like general rule for these mixture problems? Amount times percent. Now, some of you are lazy and you don't want to write that down, but I think it really helps to write it down. You always have plenty of time on these tests, just write it down. Now, there are 6 things that go in the problem. 4 of them are automatic. All the percentages are given. So we've got 28%, 10%, and 22%. What other number do we know? And where does the 20 go? With the 10. Now somewhere I need a variable. I need an x. I'm solving an equation. I gotta have an x. Where am I gonna put the x? How much 28%? That's your x. So think about what you're doing. You're taking x cups and 20 cups and dumping it all together. So what's in that container now? X plus 20. So 0.28x plus 2 equals 0.22x plus 4.4, double check my arithmetic. So 0.06x, please watch your arithmetic. the answer 40? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, Jake, does that all fit together for you?
Yes, sir, thank you.
What's the matter, Ashley?
I don't get where you got the 4.4.
Well, I can distribute. Get out your calculator. What's 20 times 0.22? You're distributing. So you're taking 0.22 times x and 0.22 times 20. All right, anybody else see anything on practice test 2? Lindsay? 7A says find the inverse. Here is the problem. What is step 1? When we find the inverse, what is step 1?
Switch the variables.
Switch the variables. Do not forget step 1, switch the variables. Now what do?
Put the denominator into x.
So we bring this over here and use our distributive again. This comes over here and gets times by 2y plus 1, and then we do our distributive. Here's the tricky step. It's not tricky, we just forget it. What do we have to do now?
Bring the y out.
Put all the y's on the same side. So these two guys basically change places. This comes over, this goes over. Now, what did I do that for? So I can pull out a y. Lindsay, is this looking familiar?
Yeah.
And then what? Divide. And there is your inverse.
We did 7B.
7B is exactly the same situation. Easier, actually. Step 1, switch the variables. Multiply by 4. Now, there's only one y in this problem, so we just get it by itself. So we'll add 3 and divide by 8. Multiply both sides by 4 to get rid of the denominator. Anybody else see something on practice test 2 that you want to do together? Jake?
Yeah, number 2, that graph.
Okay, we need our graphing calculator to do problem number 2. As we have our piece of paper, we're going to cut the corners out. The corners are X. And the paper is 10 by 16. So I need an equation for volume. I'm folding up the flaps. What's my equation for volume? Length times width times height, which is going to be what? 16 minus 2x, 10 minus 2x, and x. Length, width, took an X off each corner. So you don't have 16 anymore, you have 16 minus the two X's that you cut off. What is my domain? X has to be between two numbers. 0 and 5. Now, why 0? You can't have a negative corner. It's always going to be 0. You cannot have a negative corner. Why 5? It's half of the smallest dimension. The paper's only 10 wide. If I'm going to rip a piece off and give it to Harry and Lexi, the most I can give them is 5, if I only have 10. So now, this is my X min and X max right here. Set my window. That's my X min and X max. What's my Y min? Y min is 0. Y max is something. I'll start with 100 and see what happens. What's the only rule? What do I have to see? At the top of the hill, yep. So if I don't see that, I'll have to make it bigger. Oh, I don't. 100 isn't big enough. You did 150 in that word? I think I'll go 200. 200's good. I just need to see something that looks like this. Now I want to maximize the volume, maximum, high point. So what do? Second calc. Click down to maximum. And then remember your cursor comes on. Where do you need your cursor to be? Over here somewhere on the left. And then you need it to be over here somewhere on the right. And then we need to put it up there. And I got 2,144. 1.99999 is 2. Now, what do those two numbers represent? 2 is X. What is X? The corners, right? So the question says, I didn't read the question, if it says, how big are the corners? Then the answer is 2.
Would the area be 144?
The area is 144. So if it says find the maximum area, or volume, I mean, not area, volume, find maximum volume, it's 144. Square, or cubic inches. So 144 cubic inches is the answer to the question. Okay? Now for tomorrow, Harry's going to shave. And we are going to finish practice test 2. So that when you come in tomorrow, we can go over your questions and get practice test 3 done, hopefully, because then your test will be Thursday. Okay? Everybody clear?